This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shake your body.
Wake your fuck ass up.
Right, 32 minutes into the hour. Mike Muse, we have a very special political news today.
Yes, we do.
Special edition, morning after Super Tuesday. I invited the lovely Eboni K Williams to join us this morning. She's here. She serves as a Fox News contributor. She provides political and legal analysis and commentary on today's biggest headlines. She's also a frequent guest host on New York City's legendary talk radio station 77 WABC. Eboni, welcome to the show.
No, thank you so much,
Welcome,
Sway.
Eboni.
This is amazing.
There you go.
I got that
three
in
times.
Yeah,
Quota's done.
it's a three amazing quota in order to get the invite back. Listen, you guys. Eboni, Mike Muse is also a political analyst for us. He also works with my brother's Keeper program with the Barack Obama's administration. He's done a lot of work in the trenches. Worked for a few presidents. Including he even worked for Hilary Clinton at one point, and so he's pretty much the guy I go to when I don't understand what's happening in politics. How's that, Mike?
Thank you for that. That's like my amazing.
All right. So
two more times to say
so I'm
that.
watching Super Tuesday last night, and I'm thoroughly entertained by what's going on with both races on the Democratic side and on the Republican side, and I pretty much I remember you, Eboni K Williams, once saying you have Donald Trump and then everybody else is vying to be the alternative, and I think nothing's more true than we saw in the results last night.
Sure.
Donald Trump pretty much swept everything. It felt like in Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia. He also captured moderate Massachusetts and Vermont. Why? What does this mean for Rubio and Cruz? I mean, should they continue?
I mean, they both of them cannot continue in this raceway if at all there's this continued narrative that the establishment is so dissatisfied with Trump's candidacy, right? And that's what we're hearing. And they can't stand each other.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You've got two young junior senators that can't stand each other. They think that they're very, very different, and maybe you can argue that they are. But in terms of voters, the voter appeal that they have is very similar. So they're biting off each other's noses to spite their face.
Yeah.
So look, and going into Super Tuesday, now this is interesting to me, to both Mike and Sway. Rubio was making the case that he was the go-to establishment guy. He's got all the endorsements, the establishment's behind him. Make me the Trump alternative, to your point. Well, he can't really make that argument in a compelling way anymore, right? Because now you got Cruz that says, look, bro, I won 3 states last night. What you got? You barely won one. You got one on the board. So that just becomes a very difficult argument now for Marco Rubio to make that he is best suited to be the Trump alternative.
Cruz would never be cool enough to call him bro, but I do.
Well,
Yeah, I like how
an
you
equal
put that.
opportunity, trying to make that brother feel included.
You did that.
know?
You did that. What do you think? But Mike, what do you think? Because the establishment does seem to be in disarray about Donald Trump being a front runner right now. And what does this mean for the GOP?
It's a new GOP. They woke up this morning to a new reality that this is who they are now. And they woke up to reality that there is no one in control. The establishment has completely fractured. Fox News can't control the media. There is no RNC chairman and previous who can control the narrative of it. And for the first time in political history, both from a Democrat and Republican party, we've seen a party come unhinged.
Yeah.
And for the first time, we've seen a party have no clear leadership. Eboni is absolutely right. Like, Rubio was predicted to be the establishment candidate, which is why they were excited when Bush got out. They were excited when all the other moderates dropped out the race, and they all thought that they would cover less to Rubio because Cruz isn't liked in the Senate. He's not like this likable guy that people like to hang out with. He's really polarizing even Republican Party standards on the Republican side. So they thought Rubio was going to be the guy. And so the fact that Rubio establishment isn't the guy is a little troubling for the Republican Party. But I am happy that Rubio actually got his first victory in Minnesota. You know, I've been rooting for Rubio. I have been rooting for Rubio for a while. I was really excited when he came in third place. Remember we talked about before, like third place was actually the first win, and so I was really excited for this guy, man. But I'm excited for Trump, man. I've been saying since day one that Trump is going to be the nominee.
Just call him Lil Rubio, man.
Lil Rubio.
Right.
All right, both candidates, they both had victory speeches last night. They both were very different, Hilary Clinton and Donald Trump. Here's what it sounded like.
I believe what we need in America today is more love and kindness.
I know it was a very tough night for Marco Rubio. He had a tough night, but he worked hard. He spent a lot of money. He is a lightweight, as I've said many times before.
The rhetoric we're hearing on the other side has never been lower.
I always liked Marco until about a week ago when he decided to go hostile. He decided to become Don Rickles, okay? But Don Rickles has a lot more talent.
Instead of building walls, we're going to break down barriers.
The loser of the night was Marco Rubio, and it's true. He didn't win anything. He hasn't won.
I love Donald Trump keeps me in front of the TV. Hillary, she swept through Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and added Massachusetts, a state that Sanders had hoped to win. Is it all but over for Sanders?
Unfortunately, it is. I believe that, and I know people who feel the burn are going to come at me, as they often do, but I think the reality is hit for him. The fact that he couldn't win Massachusetts, he needed to win Massachusetts yesterday in order to have some viability kind of heading into the race, and the fact that he didn't shows the issue. The fact that Hillary actually won Massachusetts works in her favor because she shows that she can win amongst white men, which is going to be one of her challenges to win. In the fact Sanders didn't win anything in the South. He was expected to win the West and Nevada, which he lost. And so the states that he was planning to win, he actually has not delivered on that. Although he has incredible fundraising records, it's just not in his favor. There's this notion in terms of the delegates. Hillary Clinton is way ahead of Sanders in the delegates, and it's due to the Democrats have this notion called super delegates. And I think the super delegates are those who are elected officials and elected party officials who had the chance to actually vote during the convention time period, and they're kind of allocated X amount of votes. Yeah. I think that as Democrats, they're going to have to look at that process of what the super delegates are going forward to see in this day and age of democracy if the super delegates are even relevant. Just the Republican Party is going to have to look at themselves. They talked about this brokered convention. Yeah. The Republicans are unsettled that Trump is their guy. And so now it's not a matter of who can win the next contest coming up for the primaries, but it's more so how did we stop him at the convention. And so for them to be even discussing that strategy undermines universally what democracy is. And so they're going to face a whole set of issues they go that way. And I also believe the Democrats are going to face issues too dealing with this super delegate theory.
Yeah, Mike's right. Sanders is certainly not going to be the nominee. I think we all know that. Yeah, I think Bernie Sanders knew that long ago. To be frank with you, I don't think Bernie Sanders for 1 second thought he was walking into the Oval. But what he's doing is a movement. He is committed to the movement, to the inspiring of people across this country, particularly young people, to think differently about economics and distribution and fairness and justice and whatnot. And he's got the money to keep going, and he's going to keep going. He's taking this to the convention, not so that he ends up being the nominee. So in a way, he's making Hillary work for it in a way that without Bernie in this race, still she wouldn't have to. So I think he's doing tremendous favor to the Democratic Party by continuing to push his narrative and make a splash and do what he does quite well.
Okay, we got Eboni K Williams has joined us. Mike Muse is here. You guys want to chime in? If you watch Super Tuesday, what are your thoughts? And did your candidate make out well? 888-742-3345. Give us a call. Sway in the morning.
Now more of the daily news on Sway in the Morning.
All right, 43 minutes into the hour. Mike Muse is here, of course. And then we also have Eboni K Williams, Fox News Channel contributor, political analyst, attorney, just all-around cool person. She has joined us as well. We're talking about Super Tuesday. Let me ask you guys your opinion on this. A lot of Democrats say they want someone with experience in the office, and then Republicans are saying they want someone who's outside of the establishment. Which role you think will play, will be stronger in a general election?
You know what? That's a great question. I think if it would have been like 2012, it would have been about experience. But I think now in 2016, it's not about experience. I don't think experience bodes well for you in 2016. I think people are looking for something different, something exciting, something that's authentic. I think that's why Trump has had such great success, is because of his authenticity that they like. I think that's going to be a challenge for Clinton to overcome when it's head-to-head between Trump and Clinton, is how does she become unguarded and kind of speak her truth and attacking him on the debate stage. And so I think this year is about authenticity and character more so than about policies. We don't know what Trump's policies are. Like, we really don't know what Rubio or Cruz's policy are. And on the flip side, we know that Bernie has something about, like Ebbs mentioned, he wants free tuition. He wants, the inequality gap to be closed. And we know Clinton has released a hell of a lot of white papers, but nobody's read them, right? So this is all about personality in 2016. 2016, and this is unlike anything we've ever saw in a presidential election cycle.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll go further to say that I think the day of the experience theme being effective in a political race is over. I just don't think that that's resonating anymore. In fact, what we see Donald Trump already doing, Sway, is starting this narrative that says, well, Hillary, you have been close to power for 20 plus years and you've done nothing. In fact, all you've done in his narrative is set us back. You've been part of the problem, thus you cannot be a part of the solution. And that's going to be damning for her, I think, moving forward. And it's not different than the narrative we saw from then Senator Barack Obama in 2008, right? Hillary went with the I'm the experienced candidate. I'm the one who's been there and done that and know best. And American voters, and especially even Democrats first, rejected that narrative in a sweeping motion. I don't think that's the winning notion for her.
Let me ask you this, Ebony. I think the general consensus is that Bill Clinton will be a strong point for Hillary Clinton at one point in her campaigning. But it seems like he may be a thorn for Hillary in her campaigning. Will he be an effective force for her? Or, I know recently Donald Trump attacked him and his record on sexual assault. Or is he going to hurt or help Hillary?
I think he becomes neutral. Here's why. We were talking about this in the green room over at Fox News the other day, and it was a bipartisan, both Democratic and Republican strategists. Bill's not who Bill used to be, like from a physical standpoint. You look at Bill Clinton now on a podium or at a speech or at a rally for her, he almost seems feeble. He's not in fighting shape, so to speak. He's not in fighting form. And so I don't really think he's going to be the bulldog and pit bull that he was in 2008. Now, some would argue that he was problematic for her in 2008, but I don't think it even gets to that point, Sway. So I think he becomes a non-issue. It's almost like beating somebody when they're already down.
What do you think, Mike?
I think that President Clinton will always be a factor. I think that President Clinton is an amazing orator. I think he's an amazing person when he goes on the trail. People have this love for him that is unlike any other politician that we've seen before. I think what's going to be interesting for me is I think he still is in fighting shape. I think the difference though with this one,
recently, though, Mike?
Yeah, I think what the difference with this one is that for the first time, Trump is able to neutralize Bill Clinton in ways that no other politician has done before. Just as Trump been able to neutralize all the other moderate Republicans who've come after him, Trump has a level of going there and attacking, and his clapback game is so strong that we've never seen it before. And so the whole notion of the reason why Clinton was able to be stopped when he initially came out and Hillary kind of went with the whole sexist theme, and Trump was like, but you got your boy Bill right there, right? And we all know his past, right? And so Bill never been hit like that before, right? And so he has to rethink and retool, how do I come after a guy like Trump who's unafraid to bring up all my dirty bags that I have, dirty laundry. So
Monica Lewinsky will be famous again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it will come back. And the notion of sexism, because that's what Trump alluded to. As soon as Hillary began to talk about, sexism, Trump immediately clapped back, right? And said, well, we all know your husband's past, right? And so
I think that, but I also think just from a female perspective, a woman's perspective, I don't think there's as much empathy around figures like Monica Lewinsky and Paula Jones. Not to demonize those women, but I think we're at a different day now where they're not seen as the woe is me figures that they once were. I think there's more questions around that.
No, absolutely. But I don't think it's about should we put Monica Lewinsky on trial here in terms of does she come back and does she influence the vote? But I think collectively what Bill represents in terms of Trump being unafraid to go there.
Sure, okay.
So I think that is what could be damaging for Bill on the campaign trail if Bill claps back on Trump too strong. Bill has always had this affinity to be able to be aggressive on the campaign trail and to really speak his mind. And he's never met a force like Trump. Bill has always been the Democratic Trump.
So I think we're agreeing because I don't see the energy and the effectiveness of Bill anymore either. I just thought it was because he just didn't have it like that anymore. But you think it's Trump?
Oh, no, he still has it. It's
Okay,
just that
you think
Trump
it's Trump.
is a neutralizer when it comes to his clapback game in terms of how does Bill handle that.
We have Phil on the line from New York. Good morning, Phil. How are you? Phil, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah, say hello to Ebony. Say hello to Mike Muse.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hi, Phil.
Hey, I just had a question for Mike. In regards to Donald Trump, do you think, because you know how they have the candidates release their tax returns over the past years?
Yes.
Do you think that's going to hurt Donald Trump? Because I'm sure he's played some games with the tax man, being a billionaire and all. And that's just my question. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for the question. I think it's a really great question. It's not going to affect him right now in the primaries because he's too far out ahead in the lead to have his tax. He's not releasing his tax release right now because he says that he's under the audit, and he says because he's under audit, he doesn't want to release his tax records. So I think he can get away with it for that line right now during the primaries. But once we enter the general election, there's going to be a stronger demand for him to release his tax returns, and then we'll be able to take a greater look at that. Just as well as Romney, there was a call for Romney to release his tax returns, but Romney didn't release the tax returns until the general election, probably until around September, October, if I remember, in 2012. So we'll see how long it's going to take for him to release it, and especially if it comes back that he can release some of his other previous tax returns that aren't under the audit's jurisdiction, if you will.
Following up on Phil's point about Trump possibly playing games with the tax man, even if that comes to light, which it very well might, I don't think that hurts Trump. Here's why. Because people feel like it's in the same way that the bankruptcies don't hurt Trump. People feel like, hey, do what you got to do to beat the system and to win. And in fact, teach me how to do it too. Many people want to benefit in the same way that they feel like Trump has benefited financially from playing the system. And I don't think they're offended at his way of doing that.
I totally agree. I mean, if Trump can initially not disavow an endorsement by Duke,
David Duke,
Duke, and come out, without a scar,
relatively unscathed,
then I think, and there's nothing to me. Unless Trump runs through Times Square butt naked with a little boy, that's gonna. I'll
tell you, there's only one thing, and it's if he was broke. That is the only thing. The only vulnerability Donald Trump has in this race, from my vantage point, is he shows himself to be fiscally as less than remarkable as he is. Because that's the thing that endears most Americans to him that support him. He's the guy that has done it for himself, and they want in. They want in.
They want to know how. Real quick, Eboni K Williams, first of all, thanks for coming by this morning. We have to have you back.
Thank you.
And Mike Muse as well. What do you think would be a more fierce race? Donald Trump versus Hilary Clinton, or Donald Trump versus Bernie Sanders?
I think entertainment-wise, it will be from Sanders versus Trump because both of them are unafraid. They represent two opposite ends of the spectrums in terms of ideology for a Republican and for a Democrat. So from entertainment perspective, I think that will be an entertaining race. From a policy perspective, it will be great to see the contrast between Hillary, who's very policy-oriented, who is very structured and methodical in her thoughts, going against a gentleman who is very unhinged, right, and is unafraid to speak his truth and doesn't really care about leading policy first, but leading character first. And so I think that makes an interesting race too. So it's completely apples and oranges when you compare those two different opponents.
Entertainment-wise, I think Hillary Trump is the most entertaining ticket in America right now because she's got so much dirt. He's got so much dirt. She's going to shy away from it at first, but ultimately she won't be able to. And Trump was going to go there from jump. So, golly.
All right, Eboni K Williams, thank you for coming through this morning. How can people, citizens, reach out to her directly?
Please do. Tweet me. I'm at Eboni, EBONI_K. I'm not really a big Instagram person, but please tweet me. And I actually respond to almost every tweet I get. Or check out my website, www.ebonikwilliams.com.
Thank you very much. Mike Muse, how can they reach you? Let's continue the conversation online.
Yes, reach me at I am Mike Muse. I am Mike Muse, M-U-S as Sam E on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Okay, and the question is,
what do you guys think? Do you think that they should fight for the Republican Party at the convention, or do you think they should just let Donald Trump take it?
All right. Thank you guys for coming through. Up next, we got sports with Owen.
It's Sway in the morning, only
on Shea 45.